Some cars roar onto the scene and instantly become legends. Others take a wrong turn somewhere and end up forgotten. Today, we're celebrating those forgotten high-performance gems, which include a pickup disguised as a roadster, a muscle car with a foreign accent, and a V10 beast built for lunatics. These cars didn't just turn heads, they snapped necks. 2005 Chevy SSR. We begin our list of forgotten sports cars with a pickup truck. But it's not just any pickup truck, it's a roadster with retro stylings. With its styling based on the advanced design trucks of the 1940s, the Chevy SSR has curvy fenders, chrome accents, a retractable hardtop, and is full of creature comforts. But that's just the icing on the cake. The real reason we featured it is because of the monster underneath its hood. The 2005 SSR comes with an LS2 engine straight out of the C6 Corvette, good for 395 horsepower, and sends power to the rear wheels. When fitted with the optional 6-speed manual transmission, this bad boy could accelerate from 0 to 62 miles per hour in just 5.29 seconds. Unfortunately, the SSR suffered from an identity crisis. Too expensive to be a toy, too impractical to be a truck, and too eccentric for the average buyer. 20 years later, it is a cult classic, a collector's item with undeniable character. Moving on to some Japanese luxury and precision engineering, but before that, subscribe! 2003-06 Acura RSX Type S Honda didn't give us the mighty Integra in the States, but its upscale twin, the Acura RSX. It was a stylish coupe with many high-end features and optional extras that no one really cared about. Instead, buyers and enthusiasts focused on the performance offerings of its Type S model. It came with a 2-liter engine that produced more than 200 horsepower, sent to a front-wheel drive system via the standard 6-speed manual. It doesn't sound like much, but since the RSXS weighed less than a lunchbox, it could accelerate from 0 to 60 in just 6 seconds as VTEC kicked in, yo! Not bad for a sports car that could do up to 24 miles per gallon. When you are done admiring its curves, you'll admire how it handles the curves of the road. The handling was sharp despite the McPherson strut suspension. Why didn't the RSX catch on? Well, there are several reasons. The major one being its rear-wheel drive competition in the form of the Nissan 350Z and the Ford Mustang. Also, it seems like Acura was more interested in building luxury sedans than sport coupes for Walmart's middle managers. Either way, cool car, if you can find one that hasn't been modified to death. Now we move on to something sleek, German, and criminally underrated. 2003-June Audi TT 3.2 Quattro. Describe the MK1 Audi TT in one word. Refined. It is a sports car that ticks all the boxes. Performance? Check. Comfort? Check. Technology? Check. Won't break down every other day despite being an old German car? Check. This was the car plastered across teenage bedroom walls in the early 2000s. It had curves that made other coupes look like filing cabinets. And now that it's flying under the radar, those same kids can actually afford one. The best version of this car is undoubtedly the top model, the one with the 3.2 VR6 engine. With 247 horses and 236 torques sent to all 4 wheels, it can propel this TT from a standstill to 60 miles per hour in just 5.8 seconds. Put your foot down and it feels sophisticated to drive and isn't trying to be a hardcore racer. The first-gen TT carries just enough punch to make every drive feel memorable. At the same time, you'll be surrounded by high-quality materials, and the minimalist cabin design is very driver-focused. The TT is a gem of a vehicle, an all-rounder that is a future classic for sure. But what if you wanted an Audi TT back then, but didn't want to pay Audi money for it? 2003-7 Infiniti G35. The Infiniti G35 Coupe is what you get when you strip down the hoodie-wearing Nissan 350Z down to its underwear and give it an Armani suit. A samurai with a leather briefcase, it's a lot more upscale and valuable, but still has that savagery underneath, thanks to its cousin's 3.5-liter V6. It makes more than 280 horsepower, sending it all to a rear-wheel drive system, almost 300 in the later models. With the 6-speed manual, it has a 0 to 60 time of less than 6 seconds. But this wasn't just a straight-line missile. It is one of the most intelligently made cars on this list. Infiniti uses a front midship engine layout, which when combined with the rear-wheel drive system, gives it a perfect weight distribution of 52 to 48. Hence, it feels planted in corners with predictable handling and is free from understeer. So, it's more refined than a 350Z, cheaper than an M3, and more reliable than both. And lastly, because it wasn't very unhinged and lacked mainstream attention, it's quite underrated. So, you don't need to give up a kidney to be able to afford one. A true sleeper performance car, if you ask me. The next car is if the Corvette got promoted to middle management. Cadillac XLR-V. The Cadillac XLR-V was essentially a C6 Chevy Corvette dressed in a tuxedo. This was the company's answer to the brutal Mercedes SL55 AMG. The XLR-V is undoubtedly the sexiest car on this list. One look at it, and you'll think it was a stealth fighter jet in its past life, with its angular and low-slung stylings. Since the standard XLR is meant to be a powerful roadster, this version also features a retractable-powered hardtop roof. Underneath it has a detuned version of the supercharged 4.4-liter V8 that you'll also find in the STS-V, good for 443 horsepower and 414 torque. This power, when sent to the rear wheels, helps it achieve 60 miles an hour from a standstill in just 4.6 seconds. Not bad for something with more leather in it than a Milan fashion show. But maybe that was too much for the gentry that bought this car. And so Cadillac also fitted it with the brakes from the Z51 Corvette. Why was it forgotten? Well, because it was super pricey, and also people weren't comfortable with a Cadillac muscle car. With the looks and performance of a road-legal Batmobile, the XLR-V is an entirely different species from the Cadillac your granddad used to drive to Elvis. This was a stealth bomber disguised as a gentleman. Next up is the comeback of the greatest muscle car ever, cut short. 2004-6 Pontiac GTO. The year was 2004. It was supposed to be the second coming of the godfather of muscle cars. After 30 long years, Pontiac was about to relaunch the mighty GTO. Muscle car fanatics had every reason to be excited. They got the Mustang, the Charger, and they were now getting the GTO. Instead, they got a rebadged Holden Monaro from Australia. Yeah, it was an awesome car in its own right, but try explaining to a Pontiac bro that his car had a passport and started every sentence with "Oi mate." Anyways, it had an LS1 engine from the C5 Corvette and could be had with a 6-speed stick shift. Later models came with the 400 horsepower LS2 from the C6. The result? It had a 5-second 0 to 60 time, worthy of the GTO nameplate. Pontiac had even tried to recreate the sound of the 1964 GTO. Despite the firepower, the GTO never quite sparked the love affair it deserved, unlike the Mustang GT we covered in our previous video. Add an info card or link to 10K video. This is due to its high price tag and the lack of retro stylings. Still, it delivered pure muscle car thrills, even with a foreign accent. But here's a muscle car that was a favorite yet is still under the radar today. 2003-4 Ford Mustang SVT Cobra. Before we had the Mustang Shelby, we had the SVT Mustang. Better known as the Cobra Terminator, the name was more of a threat than a marketing gimmick. It came factory-fitted with a 4.6-liter supercharged V8 engine that churned out 390 horsepower and pound-feet. The 4.5-second acceleration time to 60 miles per hour comes as no surprise whatsoever. If that wasn't enough, you could do one of two things. Either go to a mental health professional and get yourself checked out, or you could tune that iron block engine even further and add a couple of hundred horses to the power output. Believe me, it can handle anything you throw at it. But that's not all. Ford also fitted it with an independent rear suspension for improved handling, so you won't find any videos of this car crashing into crowds. Looks-wise, it was wider, lower, and the front fascia was designed to be more aggressive. They wanted it to be distinct from the NPC Mustang in every single way. The Cobra Terminator is a prime example of American engineering excellence. A muscle car with supercar potential. A fitting end to the last model years of the SN95. And last but not least, we have a sports car with an 8-liter V10. 2003-6 Dodge Viper SRT10. It has been 8 years since they took the Dodge Viper from us. More than 20 if we're talking about the second-generation Viper. And what a car it was! Unfiltered, untamed, and unapologetic. It was powered by an 8.3-liter V10 engine, good for 500 horsepower and 525 pound-feet, paired with a 6-speed. It took 4 seconds to get to 60 miles per hour and an extra pair of underwear. There were absolutely no electronic safety nets, no traction control, no stability program. And yes, it was all done on purpose to improve the driving experience. There were several upgrades, including a lighter and stiffer chassis and a more aerodynamic body. Overall, this is a car for lunatics built by mad scientists. It embodied everything America stands for: brute force, independence, and a complete disregard for what anyone else thinks. Forget the F-150, forget the Mustang. This is America on 4 wheels. So there you have it, a wild tour through the sports cars that refused to play by the rules, but somehow slipped through the cracks of history. They may not have been perfect, they might not have sold by the bucket load, but each one has earned its place in the Hall of Forgotten Legends. Like and subscribe for more automotive wisdom.